fresh, my house shot with a red spot, shot with a red spot, shot with a red spot.
Have you visited us online for the grand opening of KBLA.store? For the best in new merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store. Be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all the official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580.
The bounce is back. You ready?
Come on! It's the queen of royal badness.
It's time for the Rob Report with Robin Ayers.
Highlighting people and things you should know about.
Robin's got you covered. Follow Robin at Robin Ayers. You're listening to the Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Robin's got a lot to talk about.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now.
Welcome to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580, where we bring you the latest in entertainment news, trending topics, and interviews. I am your host, Robin Ayers, with you Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. I'm so glad that you're joining me today, wherever you are joining from. Some of you are on the freeway, and I'm so sorry. The traffic is a beast out there, and it's hot. If you are in LA, it is burning up out there, so stay cool, put that AC on. And some of you may be listening from home already. Well, kick your feet up, get ready for a really good show. Great topics today, and I'm looking forward to breaking them down. If you want to weigh in on the topics, you can always do that by calling 1-800-920-1580. You could also join us right now over in our YouTube chat, because that's where the party's at. We have a good community, a great community over there, always great conversation. And I chime in there, here and there as well. So go ahead and do that, KBLA 1580 on our YouTube page, as well as all of our social media platforms. Also, feel free to call or follow me at Robin Ayers on all of my social media platforms as well. It's just a good idea. Okay, so there are some updates that I want to get to you guys. Before I do that, I guess I'll start by putting this question of the day over inside the YouTube poll. It's just fun. I saw this whole situation unfold on social media. There was a large party of friends, okay? They went out to celebrate someone's birthday. And when I say it was a large party, it was at least 10 people, okay? And at the end of the dinner, they all started arguing about who was going to pay what and what they're not paying for, all of this stuff. It's her birthday. She shouldn't pay for anything, all of that stuff. I want to know how you get down when you go to dinner parties or you go out to lunch and you're with a big, I don't like stuff like that. You got to know who you are going to dinner with. Is it one person has got the bill because they're a big baller, or is it everybody just paying their separate bill, asking for separate bills? I don't know. The question is, do you agree with splitting the bill with a large party when you go out to eat? I got to know. I'd like to know. Do you agree with that, or are you kind of like, nah, not so much? Well, that question is over in our YouTube poll. I want you to go ahead and answer that as you come on in. Let's go ahead and get some updates to you. Happy birthday to Wendy Williams and Avery Wilson. Both of them are celebrating. We have not heard from Wendy Williams. We don't know where she is, but several people have spoken up saying, they're good friends with her, but they're also saying they've not spoken to Wendy Williams in quite some time. So from the looks of it, she's either, in their words, being controlled. I'm not going to go with that narrative because we just don't know, even though we've heard several things. We've talked about it on this show, in fact. But my hope is that maybe she's in a rehab somewhere, getting the help that she needs. I don't know. Hopefully she is well, wherever she is. I hope she's doing well. But happy birthday to Wendy Williams and singer Avery Wilson. Also, congratulations to my girl, Jennifer Freeman. You guys may know her from My Wife and Kids, the actress, and so many other movies. Now that she's an adult, you will know her. But she just came out with her new love, D Nice. Y'all know DJ D Nice. Well, they just showcased their pictures online for the first time, so they are booed up. Congratulations to both of them. There was some breaking news today. This one kind of shocked all of us, and you'll see why. There was breaking news that Las Vegas police searched a home in connection with the killing of Tupac Shakur. Yeah, like, that's a trip. They searched a home. Obviously, there's so much more to unfold with this story as we find out more details. I'm certainly going to talk about it just because, come on. I mean, everybody wants to know. There are all these questions that we have that have not been answered for well over 20 years. So we'll see where that leads to. But also, 20-year anniversary of Bad Boys 2. How old do you feel? You got to feel old because 20 years ago, Bad Boys 2. Okay. They are celebrating that. We also just found out, this is a story that I'm going to follow up. I'm definitely going to talk about this and see if we can break it down. But apparently, Nene Leakes, she is a... You all know her. Reality television star. She was from The Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's an actress. She went on Broadway. She has done so many different things. But her son, her eldest son, 33-year-old Bryson Bryant, was arrested earlier this month. And he was hit with several different charges. But one of them was including a felony possession of fentanyl. And that's heartbreaking because we had known for him to have been involved in some drugs and all that. But y'all know fentanyl is something it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. So I don't know what's going on with Bryson. But he also claimed he gave the police a different name. He gave the police the name of his younger brother, Brent. Like, come on, how cold is that? Anyway, we will talk about it when we find out more information on that, but hopefully he can get right. Hopefully he will be okay. So we are sending our well wishes to them. We should go ahead and get into the Raw Report. Andy, let's do it.
Now it's time for a breakdown.
Well, if you've seen the visuals on this, Drake criticizes Childish Gambino. I don't think he started it, but he certainly seems like he's trying to end it. We'll talk about it's a lot of details regarding this, but it does raise a bunch of questions, several questions that I have actually. So we'll talk about what Drake said to criticize Childish Gambino and what did Childish Gambino say to start this whole thing. We're going to break that down on the other side with our contributor, Sukihana. We recently talked about her because Sukihana is a rapper and a reality TV star. Here's the deal. We talked about her because she was recently put in a situation where everybody was up in arms. She was people called it sexually assaulted by YK Osiris. We talked about this recently. He's a rapper who tried to kiss her and she wasn't trying to have it. That same rapper, this young lady here, is now making headlines. She's all up in the news because of how she was acting and what she said on a recent visit to London. We're going to break it down. I'm sad for this whole story because I got to go in on one of our girls. I got to go in on a black woman, and I don't like doing that, but I'm about to go in. Anyway, we're also going to try to see if Nas, he's dropping his album. It seems like he's hinting around to dropping his album in just a few days. Let's talk about that and more on the other side. You are listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, Lil Real Howery. Right now, you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580. That's right. The Raw Report.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. What's up, LA? The Reparationist community got something real special going down in historic Leimert Park. August 12th, 2023. This event is sponsored by Reparations United and Black Pact, fighting for justice and empowering our community. Together, we can make moves. We have an insane lineup for y'all. The sultry Rotimi, the king of LA, The Game, smooth Eric Benet, and none other than the powerful sounds of blackness. Also, we have some special guests in the house. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, State Senator Stephen Bradford, LA's beloved Councilwoman Heather Hutt, and many more. They're bringing their passion and leadership to the stage. Mark your calendars, August 12th, 2023, Leimert Park. Let's come together, support each other, and make a difference. Peace, love, and reparations benefit concert and unity rally. Be there or be left out. Produced by Tara Perry of Black Pact and Cam Howard of Reparations United.
I just discovered the best back-to-school hack, shopping at Kohl's. With the extra 15% off right now, I found new school style for old school prices, like tees for under $7 that'll be so perfect for both recess and weekend fun. Then I picked up a few statement pieces, including a cool backpack that my son is so excited about. And up next, the best school year yet, all thanks to Kohl's. Select styles, offers end July 23rd. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news.
You're inside the Rob Report.
With Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
All right, let's go ahead and, well, first of all, I love the conversation already up in our YouTube poll. Everybody has a different way of handling the bill, okay? Some people are just like, listen, I will take care of the whole thing just because you don't want to mess around and start splitting bills and taking out your calculator and being all petty. But on the flip side, if you only order something very small and everybody's asking you to split the bill, how do you handle these situations? Well, so far, it looks like 71% of you agree with splitting the bill when you go out with a large party. 29% of y'all said, nuh-uh. Andy, are you splitting the bill?
100%. And there's going to be a discussion prior to everybody ordering. So we're going to make it simple on the waitress or whatnot. So let's say we got like 12 people or whatnot.
Yeah.
We're going to be broken down into maybe fours or whatnot. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So waitress, you got this group, you got that group, you got this group, you got that group. Let's make it simple.
Okay. I hear that and I am not mad at it. I know several people who would definitely agree to do that same thing, just to split. Give us as many bills, separate bills as possible. Well, let's go ahead and get our contributor in here, Avi Bernard, who you know from our Friday shows where he sits in for Ariva Martin, Ariva in Real Time. Avi Bernard, thank you so much for joining the Raw Report today. I have to ask you, Avi, where do you stand with the bill? Are you splitting the bill? Are you paying for the bill? Are you like not going out to eat with a large party at all?
There was an M. Night Shyamalan movie called Split, and I'm going to go ahead and say we need to play that movie right now during this discussion because I'm splitting that all day. As you know, it actually does depend. It depends on who I'm going out with. If I'm going out with, you know, some family members, you know, 4 or 5 of us, I might take the bill. But if I'm going out with a big ass group of friends, oh no.
Right. Definitely. Yeah, that could get tricky. Well, I'm going to keep the poll question up there for a while. So as you come in, go ahead, feel free to answer that poll, and we will get back to it in just a little bit. But Avi, I want to open up this discussion right now. I don't know if you had heard back in April when Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover, he's Donald Glover as an actor and Childish Gambino as a musician, as an artist, but he did an interview with GQ, and he was talking about how his mega song "This Is America," how it started out as a diss song to Drake, because Drake is from Canada, and he's like, "This is America, this ain't Canada." Well, anyway, that went out. I don't know if it got much traction. I mean, I did read about it, and some people said some things, but it didn't get much traction. But apparently now Drake, in his recent Chicago, he opened up his tour, his It's All a Blur tour in Chicago in early July. And on the side of the stage was a scroll written that says basically his song, Childish Gambino's song, "This Is America," was overrated and over awarded. And now it seems as though this is becoming a conversation, because now Drake is sort of clapping back in his own way. Well, Ebro, if you all are familiar with Ebro, radio personality, he opened up a whole other conversation that this is really what I want to get into. He was talking recently. We'll go ahead and play the clip just to give everybody exact context of what he said, and we'll open up the discussion from there. So let's go ahead and listen to that.
Just deal with what we know for a fact, which is Drake said that the song was overrated. A song that takes a position of social commentary with imagery and everything like that song did. I don't know if you could say it's overrated and over awarded. Because you might not like the song. You might not think the song is well written or whatever. But it was important at the time, and it made people feel something about social commentary. And obviously I'm biased, because I like when an artist can do that. I don't know how I feel about Drake, who has never shown up. And y'all know I'm the biggest Drake fan on this show. Drake has never shown up to have anything to say about anything going on in society with black folks or anything other than himself. So now you having an issue. I get you having an issue with Childish Gambino if what you're saying is fact. But fam, the song was supposed to be a joke diss.
Yeah. Okay, so Avi, do you agree with Ebro? Drake, obviously, he's a biracial man. He has a black father who he's become a personality himself. He has a white mother, but he definitely recognizes and acknowledges the black side of him. He sort of leans into that. But I think that's true what Ebro said. We've never really seen Drake stand up for all of the injustices, right? We've never really seen him lead with that. And how can you speak on a song? You and Childish Gambino might have beef. Okay, that's valid. But how can you speak on that song and call it overrated and over awarded when you yourself, granted, Ebro went back and he said, I'm not saying Drake has to stand up for black people and, lead in with that foot. He's not saying that he has to, but in order to call someone out on that type of song, you would think that you yourself are also standing up. I want to know your thoughts on this, though, Avi.
So I am actually a Drake fan. I am the same exact racial makeup of Drake. I have a black father and a Jewish mother. And I've always enjoyed his music, but at this point, this dude really needs to take a step back and sit down. This song, This Is America, that was one of my anthems during the Trump presidency.
Yeah.
That song really just, and obviously it wasn't just me, it was with a large portion of the country. It was a huge hit. And Childish Gambino made a great song. And Drake is so sensitive that he's going to let his little petty feelings get in the way of recognizing this song as being great just because it was going to almost be a diss at him.
Right.
I mean, come on, dude.
Right.
Come on, dude. Eminem back in 2013, 2014 said he almost dissed Lil Wayne. I mean, but he didn't. So who cares?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The song is great. The song is great. The song has always been great. It's always going to be a classic song. And just because the artist was maybe going to take it in a different direction, now you're going to say the song was overrated. There was nothing overrated about that song. And Drake is, and to Ebro's point, talking about how Drake has never, ever made any kind of social commentary in the slightest is exactly on point. He hasn't. And regardless of whether there's social commentary in This Is America, you shouldn't be talking about it. You shouldn't be talking about it in a way of diminishing it, because it's a great song regardless. But the fact that it is social commentary means that you really need to shut up, because Drake, you're from the suburbs of Toronto or something?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, you over here making songs like Knife Talk, like you're about that life. You're not. But you want to talk about this song by Childish Gambino? I mean, at a certain point, I know like his sensitivity is like his thing, and all he does is talk about himself and like his encounters with women. And dude, enough, man, enough. Just do that. You want to stay in your lane, that's fine. But just be quiet when it comes to talking about songs that mean a lot to a lot of us.
Yeah, you're right. And the moment that he decided to say something against the song, it was almost as though all of us stood up with Childish Gambino, because the song meant so much to so many of us. I had that on repeat. I also had it as a playlist and a soundtrack somewhat of my life at a particular time when it came out. The song just means a lot to so many of us because it's speaking our truth. So what Drake should have done, and traditionally speaking, I know when rappers have battles with each other, they'll go at each other personally, obviously sometimes a little bit harsh and unnecessarily sometimes, but to attack the song in that way, it's
lame.
It was just so it was off-putting. And I just feel like it was a misstep. He definitely, it didn't land. I mean, I think he should have gone at Childish Gambino, completely himself.
Right.
But, obviously what he was trying to do is attack the very song that was meant to be a diss song against him. But let's go ahead and talk about Drake at this point with the type of influence that he has, the type of artist that he is. He's reigning in popularity, in ratings, in song charts, obviously, in influence, all of the things. He's reigning in that arena. Why? This would be the perfect time. This would be the perfect era, you would think, for him to speak up about certain things like that. But he isn't. Where do you think? Do you think that that's just him not trying to get involved, him just trying to play it safe, or where do you feel that comes from with him? And should he, in fact, start to include some of that social commentary in his songs?
Listen, I can't tell someone what they should and should not do in terms of their career. However, if someone has that level of popularity and is completely unwilling to go there in the slightest, it's probably because of one reason and one reason only, because he does not care. He does not care. If he cared at all, he would have said something. I mean, you got Taylor Swift out here calling people out and representing causes, and Drake can't even say nothing. I mean, come on, man. You got some of these people. They only see their own situation, and that is, I think, one of the worst possible human conditions, when all you can see is yourself, and you can't even use your massive, just worldwide reach to take on any kind of cause. Honestly, the only thing it could be is that he does not care. I mean, because it can't be because he's afraid of not being popular. Because, I mean, J. Cole is popular. He talks about all of it.
Yeah, but
that's
true.
Kendrick Lamar.
That's true, but that's who these artists have always been. If Drake was never really that artist, and he fears, because it's possible that he would fear that if you never really were that type of artist, and all of a sudden you're out here, you're on the front lines. he could be fearful that people won't accept him that way. He could be fearful that people will trash him. People will say, you don't, this isn't your battle, because you don't necessarily identify. You have it good. You have, all the things that we could say about Drake. He could be fearful of that.
He could be, but I doubt that he is. I mean, he's not afraid to reinvent himself. Look at the difference he's had. And he started off with Best I Ever Had. And then he's talking about Gang-ish is all I know. I mean, you're going to make that kind of a hard right turn? Dude, you can stand up for something. I mean, if he could say whatever he wants, and he says what he wants. So I don't think there's any fear involved in it. He's not going to lose any fans because he speaks out against a certain issue, as long as it's not like white supremacy or something like that. But he's got the kind of power and the kind of range. I mean, dude sings, dude raps. He's super talented. He could find a way to talk about whatever he wants, but he just doesn't care. And that's my opinion. I don't know. I don't know Drake. People sometimes say I look like him. I don't agree with that, but I don't know his personal feelings. But to me, it just seems like if you can do anything you want and you just choose not to do something that would help other people, it's probably because you don't care.
That's sad. I mean, I don't know how true that is. Obviously, that's speculation. All of this is, but right. But if that is the case, that would be very sad. Over in our YouTube, 100% of you right now say Drake. The question is, should Drake have criticized This Is America, especially when he hasn't spoken up for injustice? And, 100% of you say no, he should have kept it quiet, just like you say, Avi. And I know you're saying you don't want to tell him or anybody what they can or what they should do or whatnot, but I will. Yeah, Drake should, okay? Drake is, if he is in our community, Drake should say something. I say this for everybody, and I'll give you an example of this very quickly. Leslie Jones, we know the actress, comedian Leslie Jones. She is the woman from SNL. She's done so many things, by the way. She is a rich woman. She's doing well for herself. She's paid. She has done a lot of great things over in Hollywood, but she is standing on the lines for the writers and the actors when it comes to the strike. And that to me is so commendable, because that may not be your plight, but you're standing for those who you identify with. She is an actress. She's in this party. She's in this group. And though it may not be affecting her directly, she's still standing up for them. So that's what I'm saying. Drake, if he has the influence, he identifies with us, he should say something. We'll talk more about this on the other side, but I also really want to get to this Sukihana thing, because Avi, you and I broke this Sukihana conversation down last time, but we're going to talk about it more with this whole new thing, and I don't know, I might have to go in on her. Right now, we got news, traffic, and sports. You are listening to The Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay right there.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Denzel Whitaker, and I'm on The Raw Report.
More of The Raw Report with Robin Ayers when we come forward.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. House Democrats say it's not surprising former President Donald Trump is facing a possible federal indictment in the special counsel's investigation into the 2021 Capitol riot. Democratic Caucus Chairman Pete Aguilar told reporters he appreciates the work of the Justice Department and believes the agency is focused on holding people accountable no matter who they are. Republicans accuse the Biden administration of weaponizing the DOJ to go after President Biden's top political opponent. And it's extreme heat and smoke from Canadian wildfires that continue to plague millions of Americans across the country. Officials in California are urging residents to conserve air conditioning usage, and Las Vegas reports a sharp rise in AC service calls as the mercury soars into the triple digits. And that's the latest. I'm Esther Dillard from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
In Santa Ana, 55 northbound at 4th Street. Got a report of a crash trying to make its way over to the right shoulder. In Whittier, 605 northbound right at Rose Hills Road. That earlier crash in the lanes has cleared to the right shoulder, but you're still going to be on and off the brakes coming away from the 105. And in Mission Hills, 405 northbound right after Rinaldi Street. We've got another accident. This is blocking the right lane. It's a crawl coming away from the 118.
Like to shop local? Go to comparioninsurance.com. Their agents are local insurance experts finding you the right insurance at the right price from national carriers. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents. Expert advice.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers are in Baltimore tonight. They have a 2-game lead over the Giants for first place in the NL West. For all of you Madden gamers, Rams defensive end Aaron Donald made some history today. Donald became a Club 99 member in the Madden game rating system for the 7th time. The previous high was 6 by Peyton Manning. From the You Crazy department, Chicago Bears quarterback Justin Fields said on a podcast today that he's already one of the NFL's top 5 running quarterbacks in league history. Fields is heading into his 4th season. Last year, he did become only the 3rd NFL quarterback to rush for over 1,000 yards, but he's not top 5 material yet. Here's my top 5. Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick, Randall Cunningham, Colin Kaepernick, and Steve Young. Fields has a long way to go to squeeze into this list. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Gotta stay fresh, my house shot with a rest bar, shot with a rest bar, shot with a rest bar.
Have you visited us online for the grand opening of KBLA.store? For the best in new merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store. Be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all the official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580.
The bounce is back.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family was founded to help address domestic violence and sexual assault in the Asian and the Pacific Islander communities. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family's mission is to build healthy and safe communities by addressing the root causes and consequences of family violence and violence against women. They are committed to meeting the specific cultural and language needs of the Asian and Pacific Islander women and their families. CPAF's vision is of an Asian and Pacific Islander community that embraces healthy relationships and works in partnership with other communities to eradicate all forms of violence. To access services, volunteer, or for more info, visit nurturingchange.org. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe everyone deserves to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Keeping you informed about what's really going on.
Who's got next?
And what not to miss in entertainment. You're listening to the Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
I want to know who my representing in here tonight. Hold on.
Keep letting you back in. How can I explain myself? You said you
We got any Drake fans in the building?
Louisiana. Murder on the beat. Something for y'all to cut up to, you know? Yeah. Everybody get your roll on. I know shorty and she doesn't want no slow song. Had a man last year, life goes on. Haven't let the thing loose, girl, it's so long. You been inside.
We see who the real Drake fans are. Okay. You are inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580, where we are having ourselves a great conversation with our contributor, Avi Bernard. We're talking about this whole beef between Drake and Childish Gambino, and I just want to make this point before we go ahead and table this for the day, Avi. I am saying this. I don't know that anybody would have had a problem with saying Drake should be speaking up for us if he hadn't spoken up on this situation. That's all I'm saying. Yes, it is nice, and yes, I believe that if you have influence, you should be speaking up, using your voice, your power, your resources for us. We have a plight, and if you identify with us and our plight, then you should be speaking up and using whatever you have in your hands. But certainly, listen, I'm not putting that on you, but if you are speaking up on somebody else's situation or against, in this case, this song, This Is America, if you're speaking up on it and criticizing it, then the eyeballs start pointing, looking at you like, okay, well, what are you doing, Drake? So that's my only point. I will leave it at that. Avi, I don't know if you want to, if you have any other landing points or if we should just go ahead and move on.
No, I'll just end by saying I agree with you that if you have a problem with someone, you can talk about them. You should not have dissed the song because I don't think anyone would have had a problem if you would have dissed Childish Gambino because he was going to diss you. Fine, but you want to diss the song. That doesn't make any sense. That's all I got to say.
Exactly. That's all we got to say. Thank you, Avi. All right, cool. Listen, last time we spoke up about this whole Sukihana. She's a rapper. She's just a young lady finding her way. Yeah, she's a little more than I like. She's not necessarily my taste. But some people like her and they can, she's palatable to some people. Not myself. I want to make that clear. But Sukihana, we were talking about her recently because YK Osiris, another young rapper, was trying to sort of forcefully kiss himself. And we talked about whether that was sexual assault or sexual harassment or whatever. And a lot of people stood up for Sukihana and they say she did not deserve that, however she comes across. And I agree with that. You know, I don't care what how you talk and how you present. If you say no, or if you are definitely trying to get away from someone, or you're not trying to concede to someone's advances, then you know what? You don't deserve that. So we settled that back several weeks ago. This new situation, Avi, I don't know if you've seen the video, but let's just go ahead and talk about it. This lady, Sukihana, is over in London. She's in front of the Buckingham Palace, and she's with, seems like, a few friends of hers. And she just starts, it kind of seemed like it was out of nowhere. She just starts talking like sexually and just vulgar. And it was just over the top, just saying some crazy stuff. But here's the deal. Right when she was saying all of those things, there were a few white people. There were a couple of white women, I believe a white man who were standing there. And they were sort of thrown aback. They were looking at her like, what? And what is she saying? And what is this woman saying? I mean, it was just tacky. It was tacky. It was ghetto. It was over the top. It was just definitely too much for my liking. And they drug her on social media. They let her have it, Sukihana. They let her have it. Some people, the argument is, don't act that way. Now, we could probably, within a community, you know how it is when you go over to your people's house and everybody's, playing dominoes or people are playing spades. I mean, everybody can get a little wild and crazy. That's within our family, right? But some people are saying, don't do stuff like that in mixed company. When you're around, and mixed company, by the way, just means around other people, white people or other people who are not your own. And so that was one argument. But the argument that I chose to lean in towards, and this is what I want to discuss, is you see how she's out there. She's talking very vulgar. She is putting herself out there, and she presents herself to be a certain kind of way. Is it our fault as Black women that we are, Andy's already not having it. Andy don't even want to hear me. But are we partially responsible for how black men treat us based on some of the ways that we act in public? That's just a general sort of question. Take it however you want to take it and answer however you want to, Avi.
No. Next subject. No, honestly, though, seriously.
Okay. Okay.
No, honestly, I don't know why you keep putting this Sukihana person on me. If I have to talk about Sukihana on the radio one more time, I am going to retire from radio for the rest of my life, because I was about 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time this afternoon, years old, when I heard about this situation. And you know what? I totally understand the assertion that, okay, we're embarrassing ourselves in front of company or whatever, but let's just kind of unpack that a little bit, especially given that she was in the UK, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is a place that is like revolutionary in their racism, right? They are awesome at racism.
Mm-hmm.
They are really good at it. They don't need our help to think lowly of us. If you'll recall, members of the royal family didn't even want Prince Harry to have a baby by Meghan Markle just because they know that she's black, when she is passing very much, and they probably wouldn't even care if she wasn't black. But she's this beautiful, eloquent, amazing woman, happens to be black. They have a problem with it. So it doesn't matter what we are to people like that, because they're always going to see us in that negative light, even if whether we're dark skinned, super light skinned, whatever. And so obviously I'm not speaking about all British people. I'm speaking about the history and prevalent culture of racism within that country. But you want to go back to colonialism, all the countries they've invaded and exploited and expropriated. They we can act however we want over there. Now Sukihana, now I am like you. She is not my flavor at all. I ain't heard none of her songs. Probably never will. And I think that she wants to talk about because what she was saying is I'm a eat N-words behind, and so I mean that's just honestly, I don't care to hear anybody say that, but that's how she is, and okay, fine. But the notion that maybe black women deserve to be treated a certain way because some of them act like that.
Not deserve. Not deserve. There's a distinction here. Are we responsible? Are we partially responsible for the way that we are? And this, it's a very, very valid argument. And I know, most of us can look from the outside and say, absolutely not. We should know, regardless of whatever happens, however you present yourself, you should not be treated that way. I would agree with that. That's ideal, right? That's ideal. But this is not the world that we're living in. We are living in a world where we have Sukihanas out here who, by the way, part of this is not her fault, in the sense that in this generation, she's being raised amongst all these other women and men who don't have real traditional values. They're not when we were growing up, there were ways that we were taught, and there was nothing else. So basically, if I sat here with a list of things and I said, our parents told us to get inside the house before what? We would all say before the lights came on. We would all say, just certain things that we all are familiar with within our community. There were standards when we were coming up that these people in this generation, they don't have. There are all kinds of mixed messages. So I'm not naive to the fact that it's partially not her fault the way that she's acting, right? Because she didn't really grow up with just complete foundation like that. With that being said, it's a very valid question when you have women out here who are acting like that. Now, we can say all day she should be able to act however she wants. This is 2023. We're free out here in these streets. Yes, but we are still being approached a certain way and treated a certain way as black women. And should there be a standard for us? Should there be a standard for us? Yes, I would say yes, but you have other women out here who are acting like this, saying things like this, all out in the open, all around. It doesn't matter. She is the same. She's very consistent, whether she's around black people, white people, or whomever. and that's good for her. But my point is that she's sort of treating, or she's teaching people how to treat her. So as a whole, now I'm looking at the bigger picture. We have many Sukihanas out here. So are we partially, not all the way, and we don't deserve to be, but are we partially responsible that we are being treated a certain way?
Well, when you say we're being treated a certain way, what is that way?
That's negative. All the ways that we complain about as Black women. We say we are the most disrespected group, one of the most disrespected groups in the world, right? We say that Black men don't stand up for us, and we have all of these different things. We're called bees and all the things. Everything is negative towards Black women. We complain about that. We complain about it. But when you look at situations like this, and I'm not trying to shame this woman, because like I said, I could almost see why she is the way that she is. She's confused out here. Many of the young women in this generation are confused, and men. So I could almost see why. It doesn't negate the fact that you are still out here acting like this, and men will still approach you that way. I'm not saying it's right, but how you present yourself, you're teaching people how to treat you. I think it's a valid point, Avi. Do you just disagree with that?
Well, let me tell you what I think. So I love myself a classy woman. Love. Okay, that's my preference. And as I said, I don't like the way she acts. It's not for me. It's not my flavor. It's not my taste. I wouldn't try to date her. But as I said, they're gonna treat us a certain way no matter what. And Black women, I think you gotta realize that there's for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And part of the reason why sometimes Black women are so strong and they do see Black women as so standoffish is because we had to be to protect ourselves. Y'all had to be to protect yourselves and us throughout the history of this country. And so I don't agree with the notion that we are partially responsible. Now, for people that want to deal with Suki, they may approach her and think, okay, well, she says this, so maybe she's this kind of woman, and maybe she's easy. But there are people like that from every race, and I don't think you can just put it on us. But we always got to be twice as good to get half the credit. We always don't have to do as much to get more of the blame. And so that's just where I stand on it. And I totally hear what you're saying. And as I said, I'm in favor of class and grace. I love that on a woman, especially on a Black woman. But if she wants to act like that, that's fine. But that doesn't give anyone the right to kind of put her in a box or put all of us in a box with her and just kind of act like we're all the same type of person. Because you're going to find ratchetness in every race now. And that's just the way I see it.
It's a very multi-layered thing here. And you kind of dived into a little bit of it. Andy, I want to hear your point on this.
I agree with Avi wholeheartedly. But I think, Robin, you kind of answered your question when you broke it down. I think you got to take this kind of like, you got to separate the situation. I wouldn't want to blame all of us as a whole for, how she acts or whatnot. I don't know what her family structure is like, but I think you have to blame her village, her immediate village. I don't know if the parents were in her life or whatnot, but you can't do that, because I look at somebody like you. I don't think you garner that type of attention. You know what I mean? Where's the personal accountability? You know what I'm saying? Within her as an individual.
Partially what I'm saying, I think both of you, Avi and Andy, are kind of getting to where, I mean, we're missing points here, but you're kind of still speaking towards my point a little bit. When it comes to her village, we all had a village growing up, but what I'm saying is that within that village, we had standards. There were very specific standards that we could go by, right? There are no real traditional standards from where she grew up, which is why I said, I clearly made it, I made it very clear to say, I almost understand why she is the way that she is. It does not still negate the fact that she presents the way that she does. as many women do. I hear Pretty Brown Mimi's point over here. She says she disagrees with me that Black women are not partially responsible or fully responsible for how we're treated in this world. And Avi, I want to get back to this point before we let you go because we're running late on this topic. This is one of those days that, you know, you can go on and on. But I hear you when it comes to, you're saying to white people or anybody else for that matter who is not Black treating us a certain way. And we're always going to be looked at as a certain way. You went ahead and talked about over in London and how the history of the racism. 100% agree with you there. I'm setting that aside. That's not the topic that I'm setting aside, talking about white people looking at us or treating us any sort of way. That was one argument online, but that's not where I chose to lead this conversation. This conversation is specifically about Black men and the way Black men treat Black women. Now, if you had a bunch of people from an older generation, say my generation, who all just, I'm not trying to make myself like the standard, or I'm just using myself as an example since Andy just did, right? If you had a bunch of Robins around the world, a bunch of Robins are not going to, we're not going to receive a certain type of disrespect. We won't garner a certain type of attention. We just won't. I'm not going to walk somewhere and Black men disrespect me. In fact, Black men treat me with so much respect because of the way I hold myself. So with that being said, though, it's because I demand it, right? I command a certain type of attention and respect and all that. When you mix that with women who are like I keep calling it vulgar. Give me another word. Give me another word for Sukihana. I'm not trying to nail this girl, but just I'm trying to make a point that when you have someone who acts the way
ratchet.
Unrefined and ratchet. All right, if you have a bunch of women like that who are mixed in with a bunch of other, say, classy women or women who respect themselves or at least present that way, I believe that it garners a certain type of attention, and partially that you are responsible for that. You are, all of us, period. Let's take away Sukihana. All of us are responsible for how we teach people to step to us. Point blank in the period. I am responsible for how I teach you to treat me.
Now that I will agree with, but even with that, Robin, people are still going to come at you sideways because of what they're going through, because of what they believe about you, regardless of what you do. And so, and I do got to call out some Black men a little bit, because they might see a bunch of Robins and being all classy, and they say, oh, you too uptight. I like women who are lighter skin, or I like women who are more exotic looking. You got like 50 Cents and all these rappers and all these people in general, all these Black men in general, saying that they don't like Black women. And so, and that's not because of Sukihana. That's not because of any one of y'all. That's because that's their own issue with self-hatred. So I do agree with the part of what you're saying, but I do think it is multifaceted, and to an extent, people are always going to put their beliefs on you regardless of how you act.
Yeah, and again, I say that this is a multi-layered conversation, because there's not just one thing. It's not just what I'm saying. It's not just what you're saying. There's a whole multitude of things that we can sort of look at and dissect. It's a lot to unpack, but we can't do it right now because, Avi, we got to let you go. We are way over our time. Let everybody know where they can find you online, Avi.
At Avi Bernard, AVIBERNARD on Instagram and Twitter.
Well, we truly appreciate you. It's always great having conversations with you, Avi. I truly appreciate your enlightenment. Thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
And you too. The pleasure's all mine, Robin.
When we come forward, I hope we can get to who's got next and what not to miss on the other side. You are listening to KBLA Talk 1580. Stay right there.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Eric Bellinger hanging out right here with my family at the Raw Report. Keep it locked.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
The family of Keenan Anderson is suing the city of Los Angeles for $100 million. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you by CaliforniaBlackMedia.org. Keenan Anderson, a high school English teacher that was visiting Los Angeles from Washington, D.C., was tragically killed at the hands of the Los Angeles Police Department in January of this year. His family, alongside civil rights and personal injury attorney Benjamin Crump and Carl Douglas, have announced a $100 million lawsuit against the city of Los Angeles. Crump and Douglas are representing Keenan Anderson's son, Sincere Anderson, and his mother, Gabrielle Hansel. The family is suing for civil rights violations, assault and battery, false imprisonment, and negligence on the part of the LAPD officers. The family of Keenan Anderson and attorneys Crump and Douglas want it to be known that this is only part of a systemic issue within the fabric of police departments everywhere.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Watering Your Lawn during the hottest time of the day and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on. K-Drip.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news.
You're inside the Rob Report.
With Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is your Who's Got Next. This is called Before I Met You by the Amours.
Welcome to the camp.
Ever since summer, you had me locked down. And lately I wonder just who I am now. 'Cause I can't even do things, yeah, by myself anymore. And lately I wonder just who I was before. I met you before I met you. I met you before I met you. There's no more drama.
Fire. It is truly fire. Again, that is called Before I Met You by the Amours. Beautiful, beautiful group. I don't know if they're friends or sisters, but truly beautiful. I love this style. Yeah, Forrest Harrison says, now this is more of my style of music. Okay, well, we won. Listen, it was a great show today. Thank you to Avi Bernard. I would love to have this conversation ongoing. Part 2. Andy says, part 2. All right, we should do it. You guys, it's been great. Thank you so much. I'm your host, Robin Ayers. And remember, when we come forward, you got the voice of reason, Zoe Williams. Okay, you don't want to change that dial, all right? Remember today and every day forward to be a blessing.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Several civil rights groups are taking their challenge against Florida's new immigration law to federal court. The organizations, including the American Civil Liberties Union, filed a lawsuit in Miami federal court against Governor Ron DeSantis and other state officials. The new legislation signed into law